Hi friends, my name is Martin, one of the pastors at Oak Park Church. Behind me is Highway 2A that runs from Calgary to Okotoks. Usually at this time of day it is busy with people rushing off to work, but today it is less so because people are either working from home or they no longer have a job to commute to. I don't know if you've caught yourself saying this lately, but I've said a number of times recently, I'll be so glad when this is all over so we can get back to normal. And on the face of it, that sounds like a statement of hope as we look forward to a time when all of the bad things about this pandemic have passed. But for me at least, these words speak more to my inner impatience and less to my hope as I wait for things to return as they were before. A few weeks ago I caught a very bad cold which sent me, under the advice of our government, into 10 days of isolation at home. Now at first I resented that because there were so many things I planned to do during that time, but around day 8 of my 10-day isolation I began to appreciate slowing down. And for the first time in my life, I realized that I always seem to be in a hurry. And not necessarily because of outward pressure to get things done, but because of a hurriedness within my soul. And what I mean by that is I always feel like I'm in a hurry, even when there's nothing to be in a hurry about. It's as if the default setting on my soul is always cranked up to full speed. Without thinking about it, I automatically scan the checkouts at the grocery store for the shortest line, and when driving the Deerfoot, I constantly switch lanes into the one I think is moving the fastest, and so on and so on. Yet being forced to slow down has opened my eyes to see that those kinds of habits are all symptoms of a hurried soul. Now, in the world of mental health, they call this hurry sickness. That's right. This is actually a thing defined as a behavior pattern characterized by continually rushing and anxiousness and an overwhelming and continual sense of urgency, which pretty much sums up the way I feel most of the time. But 10 days of isolation has taught me something I don't think I would have learned any other way. That instead of continually rushing from here to there, maybe it's okay just to stay here and be. And instead of rushing every task I do, maybe it's okay to slow down and work at a puttering pace instead. The Gospel of Mark, chapter 5, tells of a time when Jesus received an urgent request from Jairus, the synagogue leader, to heal his daughter who was dying. Now, this sounds like 911 phone call in the middle of the night stuff, and you would have thought that Jesus would let nothing hinder him as he rushed to Jairus' house to heal his daughter. But along the way, when someone in the crowd touched him, he stopped to find out who among the hundreds of people it was. Now, can you imagine being one of his disciples at that time? I would have been tugging on his arm saying, "Come on, Jesus, we're wasting time here. Who cares who touched you? This little girl is going to die if we don't hurry up." But instead, Jesus stays where he is. He takes all the time he needs to listen to and empathize with a suffering woman's story. You see, Jesus never suffered from hurry sickness because the default setting on his soul was not hurry, but rest. Now, yes, there were moments when Jesus' soul was deeply troubled, but those were momentary feelings when his love for humanity overwhelmed him, or when his humanness wrestled with the Father's plan for him. But 99% of the time, he was relaxed, living in the present, free of worry about tomorrow, with his soul bedded deeply in a deep trust of his Father. So, when this is all over, maybe we should think twice about that urgency for things to return to the way they were before and consider the way of Jesus instead, his non-hurried and present in the moment way. Now, habitual ways of living are not easy to change. I know that for sure. It gets harder the older you get. So perhaps I'll leave you with this invitation that Jesus gives you and me in Matthew chapter 11. Listen to these words and let them sink into your soul. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble of heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Thank you for joining me today, and may the peace of Christ fill your soul today. God bless.